The question in the case is whether Washington courts have jurisdiction over the custody dispute. The controlling statute reads that Saudi Arabia, not Washington courts, should decide the dispute unless Bethany can show one of two things. Saudi Arabia's child custody laws violate fundamental principles of human rights, or that Saudi Arabia law would subject Bethany to punishment by death for her religious beliefs or lack of religious beliefs.
Does the child custody law of Saudi Arabia violate fundamental principles of human rights? Was that the question that the trial court answered? Is that what happened here? I don't think so. The Saudi Arabian custody order was a consent order. It was agreed to. Indeed, the consent order called for joint custody of Z. That is contrary to Saudi law in and of itself.
Are you challenging the trial court's findings about Saudi Arabian law, or is your argument just this was a consent decree and it wasn't governed by Saudi Arabian law? Or have you challenged the findings?
I'm not challenging the findings. There's substantial evidence to support them. The trial court made its credibility determination on the declarations, no testimony. Mr. Al-Hadari wasn't there, and no, I am not challenging.
There were findings about Saudi Arabian law that you have not challenged then?
No, the law is what it is.
Okay. So isn't it, apart from the terms of the custody agreement, Saudi Arabian guardianship law would still apply, right?
Supposedly.
Well, it would or wouldn't?
It would.
Your client signed a consent decree. Why is it to be unfair if we enforce that consent decree?
There are two reasons why it's unfair. The first is that the consent decree was a product of the discriminatory child custody proceedings that came before it. Those proceedings placed Bethany under duress and left her with no choice but to accept the agreement that had been forced upon her.
Why was she left with no choice?
Because by the end of the process, she had been stripped of her parental rights by Judge Tuaziri because she was, quote, new to Islam, a foreigner, and continues to embrace the cultures and traditions of her upbringing. She had tried to appeal, but her appeal had never been heard, and the case had been sent back. The head of the personal status court had intervened and told her that if she did not settle, that she would have played no role in her child's life whatsoever.